And welcome back to the channel where we talk about only good comics. I'm Brant, and this is Friday First. This is the show where we talk about those brand new #1 issues, character debuts, new story arcs, and the like coming out next week, usually. But this is a special episode all about those free comic book day books. Before we get into that, last episode, I did mention that we were going to our first convention for my Last Number Press brand. First convention since before COVID hit, and this was Central Texas Comic Con in Waco. It was a decent show, not a huge crowd, unfortunately. There were some tornadoes in the area a day or two before, and things like that. There were some other things, but there were a few comic creators, and I got to connect with them that were kind of local in the Waco, Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio areas. So we'll see each other at a bunch of shows that Lisa and I are doing this summer. So that's going to be cool. Doing a little bit of just, getting back out there and feeling like part of the community. Again, something that I haven't been able to do in a while. And it's something that I didn't realize that I missed because we used to do it a lot. I used to do it before I moved to Texas. And it felt like in a way that I was back home. And, I was a little bit, I know this is not what you're here for, so I'm going to try to be brief, but I was a little bit worried about my back. I have back problems and trying to, go through a convention all weekend. And while it wasn't painless, I handled it. I managed it and I was okay. And I came out standing strong. And I think the exercise was actually pretty good for me. So, all in all, that was fine. Didn't sell a whole lot of comics, but we did okay with Lisa's side of the crochet stuff. And we did sell some comics, especially more on Sunday than Saturday, which is odd. But so I'm just glad to be back out there. It was nice to have a smaller show to dip my toes into. The next one, unless anything changes, anything pops up that we're able to go to before it, will be Superhero Comic Con in San Antonio, Texas in June. I think it's around June 20th. So if you're in the area, come see me. I'll have the Last Number Press stuff, Torchlight Games, Diamond Fire art, diamond painting stuff, and Lisa will have her Loops and Scoops crochet stuff as well. So all that said, let's get into those free Comic Book Day 2024 books. All right, before I get into this honorable mention, I do want to remind you once again, and this is not a sponsored video, but I do want to mention that leagueofcomicgeeks.com is the website that I use for the show each and every episode. It's just convenient. You have all your pull lists there. You can have your reading collection there, everything. You can sort everything really nicely. You can put it on a poll. You can put it, want it. You can put it, I have it, and I read it. It's a really cool resource. And because I use it so much, every once in a while, I want to throw a little, plug out there for their great service that everybody should be checking out. So anyway, let's get into this first honorable mention for Free Comic Book Day, which is this Saturday, May 4th. This is Arkham Asylum Special Edition from DC Comics. This is for the kids, obviously, and it's a really cool way to introduce your kids to superhero comics and the DC Universe if you haven't done so already, because you're dealing with their pets in this caper. As we have Jester, which is the Joker's dog, involved in this. We have, let's see, who else do we have? We have Dr. Hugo Mange in this as well, and it's fun. It's their version of Arkham Asylum with Barkham, and it's pretty, just a fun concept and fun character designs, as you can see there from the cover. Don't know a whole lot about it. Haven't read anything like this from DC in particular, but it says, with the supervillains of Gotham getting thrown into Arkham, their hench pets go to Barkham. Of course they do. Why not? I mean, in a universe that has Bitewing as Nightwing's dog, and Batmite and Nightmite, or whatever his name is, and all this stuff, this fifth dimension stuff, and these talking pets and everything. Everybody has a pet and a sidekick and all that stuff in this universe. So why wouldn't they have a Arkham Asylum as well? So that's just kind of a cute concept. And that is your first honorable mention for Free Comic Book Day this week. Before I get into this next one, if I sound a little exhausted or tongue-tied or anything like that, it's because this is the second time I've done this video. The first one had no sound whatsoever. I don't know what happened, but I went to edit it and the sound was just gone. I actually recorded this about 12 hours ago, so it's been a long day, and I am just like, okay, let's get it right this time. So anyway, let's continue on with The Loud House, issue number 1. This is from Paper Cuts, Nickelodeon, based on the animated series as well. This one is kind of a shout out as well for my friend Kat. She used to watch the animated series. I don't know if she ever read the comics or not, but again, this one's one for the kids. Like I said, Nickelodeon. This is preview material. As it says there, and it says join Lincoln Loud, his 10 sisters, and his best pal, Clyde, for loud laughs, frantic family fun, and maybe a survival tip or two about how to grow up in a huge household. So if you're into Loud House at all and you haven't read the comic, this might be a cool thing to try. Or if your kids or you are big fans of the Loud House cartoon, you might want to pick this one up as well. For free, by the way. It is Free Comic Book Day. As I mentioned, this Saturday, Free Comic Book Day, happens to fall on May 4th, which for Star Wars fans is May the 4th, as in May the 4th be with you. A little play on words, with the Force and everything. So I would be remiss not to mention this book, and I'm sorry it's not fitting quite in the screen. I don't know what's going on with that title, but I can't scroll up anymore. But anyway, this is Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures / Plants vs. Zombies, issue number 1. This has stories from both of those franchises, obviously dealing with the young Jedi characters and really cute characters of that. I'm going to enlarge that a little bit and show you a bit of this cover so you can see these characters. Really cute. Love it. So again, if you are a Star Wars fan, if you like to get your kids kind of dip their toes into the Star Wars world, or you just like the young adventure stuff yourself, you can check out Jedi Master Yoda's brightest students, Padawan Court and Youngling Nubs, in this book, and also includes the Plants vs. Zombies story from that video game franchise that has also been comic books from Dark Horse, and that's where this is coming from too. So another great offering and another great honorable mention for this this year's Free Comic Book Day. Speaking of Star Wars, we have Star Wars Darth Vader issue 1. This one is from Marvel, and this is the first issue of the Darth Vader series, which started off really strong. I kind of fell off the Star Wars books. It was just too much to keep up with everything else that I was reading. So eventually, I'll hope to go back and get this stuff in trade. But Charles Soule was doing a really good job with Darth Vader where I left off with it. And it's just, if you're a Darth Vader fan, if you're a Star Wars fan, this kind of fills in some blanks. It gets to more of the core character of Darth Vader and the inner struggles that he was going through at the time, and his search for Padme in this book as well. So it was just a really strong book, and if you haven't checked it out, you can get the first issue on Free Comic Book Day for absolutely free if you choose. Different shops have different things, different quotas of how many you can get, but if this is the one that you can get it. And my last honorable mention for this episode is Doctor Who issue number 1. This is from Titan Books, and this tells the tale of the 15th Doctor. And this is also, again, a shout out to my wife Lisa, who is a big Doctor Who fan. She is a little behind on the Doctor Who TV series, so she hasn't seen any of the content with the 15th Doctor yet. But there's a lot of Doctor Who fans out there. And if you are into the Doctor Who franchise and you haven't checked out the comics from Titan, they do a pretty good job. And this one, again, features the 15th Doctor, his courageous companion Ruby, and they're in for a whole new era of time traveling tales. So check it out. All right, let's get into those actual ranked books now. And before I jump into this one, let me give you a slight trigger warning. This is sensitive material, and I know it could be triggering for some people, so I just wanted to warn you about this particular book before I do go into details about it. What caught my eye, and this is Dying Inside issue number 1 from Vault Comics. What caught my eye is the creative team behind it, which is Fallout Boys Pete Wentz, Hannah Klein from Everything's Fine, and Lisa Sturl from the Modern Tarot. So some really solid and known creators involved with this. Lisa Sturl is a great artist. I've seen their work on a lot of different things. So um, that is what caught my attention, and the cover art was pretty intriguing as well. So this book is about this girl named Ash who has decided to take her own life, and she picked out the perfect place, the perfect time, the perfect outfit, and everything, even the perfect way to do it, which is this dagger, which happens to be enchanted and won't allow her to actually die. And so her and another girl who have been kind of affected by this as well go on this quest to find the original witch to cast the spell so they can get on with this task. Presumably the story results in that not happening. One would hope. I don't know. But it's a very interesting story. And if it is not something that is too sensitive for you, you might consider checking this one out from Vault. Vault does a lot of great things. I've been meaning to check out more of their stuff. And, hopefully this will be one that I will be able to get a chance to. So this is Dying Inside issue 1, and I'm going to give this one a possibly good because of all those elements and issues surrounding it that I mentioned. So next up, we have Boombox 10th Anniversary Extravaganza, and this is celebrating 10 years of this imprint from Boom Studios, and they have put out a lot of great books over the years. Some of them I've really enjoyed, and some of my friends have enjoyed other of their books, so it's really cool. This is preview material for what's to come, or it might be exclusive look at brand new series from Boombox alongside some returning favorites uh, and a whole bunch of surprises. So that's what this book contains. You can see, I forget that character's name, but there was a book recently with that character in it. And so there should be some really cool stuff. And if you're a Boombox fan, you get a sneak peek at what's ahead. So for this one, for the Boombox 10th Anniversary Extravaganza, I am giving a potentially good, simply because I don't know which stories are actually going to be in the book. Next, we have Archie Horror presents The Cursed Library Prelude, issue number 1, or Prelude, however you prefer to say that. This is also celebrating 10 years of Archie Horror, starting with that Afterlife with Archie book that was phenomenal. And a lot of the horror stuff that Archie has done has been really good. I'm not typically a horror fan. I do like some, but it's just not my go-to. But Archie kind of made me a horror fan, if you will. I really like the way that they handled some of that stuff. It was just a unique spin because you're mixing these classic, wholesome, all ages type characters and throwing in zombies and werewolves and all this stuff, and not just like goofy versions of them either, like really serious stories with some character arcs and just some beautiful art and beautiful stories overall. So um, yeah, if you've been a fan of the Archie horror stuff, this might be one to check out. It centers around Jinx. If you know Archie and that universe, you know the name Jinx. And Jinx loves this library. She calls it home, basically. And her and Madam Satan have to unpack the mysteries surrounding these books. And as you can see from the cover here, it looks like they're flying around Harry Potter style, maybe attacking them. I don't know what's going on here, but it's leading up to you know whatever's coming next. It says exclusive original material. They have to find out who created this collection and how these two are going to be able to stop it. So Sounds like a fun time to me, especially as a lifelong Archie fan, so I'm giving this one a promisingly good. Next, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 1 from IDW. This franchise has been one that IDW has done a really great job with over the years. They kind of picked up with that original Mirage run and saw it through and brought it past that and into the present with beautiful storytelling, hits and misses here and there, hills and valleys, if you will. But overall, it's been a really strong run for TMNT under their guidance. And now they're about to head into a brand new era where they're bringing big name creators into tackle the Turtles. And we're going to see a little bit of a tease, a preview, an exclusive preview of what's to come in this book. But we're also going to see a couple of other tales, including a prelude of the new miniseries. Plus, we're going to see a new masked vigilante pop up in the city that is going to try to carry on the tradition that the Turtles set forth. We're going to see fan favorite Paul Allure returning for a story, and Andy Kuhn. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you have been a fan of what IDW has been doing with TMNT, you might want to check this one out or grab it to give it to a friend. But I am going to give this one a promisingly good because TMNT stuff from IDW has been a win more times than not. Next, we have The Worlds of James Tynion IV, issue number 1. This book contains, I think, stories from Something is Killing the Children, The Woods, and Memetic, because it is celebrating this book actually comes out on the eve of the 5-year anniversary of Something is Killing the Children and the 10-year anniversary of those other 2 books, The Wood and Memetic. So that's pretty cool, the way that the timing worked out there. Something is Killing the Children is a book that was recommended to me from my good friend Mike Spiderslayer from Comic Book Weekly, and I read the first volume. I keep saying over and over again, I got to get more of it. I got to read it, catch up, because I really loved that first volume. And so I'm excited for this book because I've never tried The Woods or Memetic. Some of James Tynion's stuff I've really loved. And the stuff that I haven't loved, I've still liked. So this is definitely one that I want to check out, and one that I'm also giving a promisingly good, because if it's just half as good as Something is Killing the Children, this is going to be a really cool book. But this is reprint material. Again, depending on what story we're getting from Something is Killing the Children, I may have read that already, but I have not read The Woods or Memetic. But if you have read all of those, be wary that this is reprint material. Next up is a pair of books from Mad Cave Studios, who have been picking up their license game recently, and this is just another one to show evidence of that. This is Gotaman issue number 0, and this is a franchise that United States fans from back in the day, my era, may know or remember as Battle of the Planets. Of course, it's resurfaced here and there. There have been comics before centered around this franchise, but now Mad Cave is taking it back to the core, back to the classic Gatchaman, and this is a brand new story that's going to kick off an ongoing monthly Gatchaman comic book series coming in June, just next month. So that's pretty cool, right? I'm going to share this cover showing all the team there and showing the art style that we got going on here. And also the team behind this is pretty cool. You got Cullen Bunn writing, Tommy Lee Edwards and Steve Orlando also writing. You got Chris Samney on that cover, which is another reason why I wanted to show it. I'm a fan of Samney's work as well. So if you are a Gatchaman fan, Battle of the Planets fan, you're going to want to check this out. I never really got into Battle of the Planets back in the day, but it's a really interesting concept, and it's weird that I wouldn't, because it's very similar to a lot of other things that I did get into. And I did the previous comics that they've had. I've checked them out and enjoyed those as well. So I'm kind of low key excited about this one, and I'm giving it a promisingly good because of that. And hopefully, hopefully it's one of these books that just gets me excited to pick up every month. And the other Mad Cave licensed book is Flash Gordon issue number 0. And again, a prelude to what's to come for Flash Gordon from Mad Cave. In this particular offering on Free Comic Book Day, we see Flash Gordon and crew trying to stop the villainous Ming the Merciless from using the Unraveler. This device kind of changes the subatomic structure in this huge burst of energy. And so he has to save the Earth again, or Ming gets the upper hand and changes the course of the universe forever. No pressure. So that is Flash Gordon, and I've never been a huge Flash Gordon fan, but the writer on this book has given me reason to jump on board this and get a little bit excited, maybe intrigued. I'm trying to meter it because, again, like I said, I've not been a huge fan of Flash Gordon, but I like the concept because I love John Carter, right? But Jeremy Adams is the writer on this book. Jeremy Adams has done a phenomenal job with The Flash and Green Lantern in the past several months, year or so. On both of those titles, he's been really solid and has brought them back to life at times for me. And so I'm hoping that he is able to put that same skill and energy into this Flash Gordon book and make me a fan of Flash Gordon. So we will see. But because of my hesitation for the character in that franchise, I'm giving this one a potentially good, but it's a very strong potentially good because of Jeremy Adams' involvement. Udon is back at it with our next offering, Street Fighter versus Final Fight issue 1. This sees these two Capcom franchises going head to head in this special offering on Free Comic Book Day. Udon has done a really good job with these video game themed books. They get it, right? So there's not usually a whole lot of story to these kind of books, but it's a lot of action and it's a lot of beautiful art doing it. Think you're like Dragon Ball Z, but a little bit lighter on the story and the character building, because you're doing it in short bursts, whether it's one shots or mini series and that kind of thing, instead of this long overarching story. But it's still pretty cool. As a fighting fan, these were fighting games. In the case of like Street Fighter, it's tournament style fighting. In the case of Final Fight, it's street fighting. Either way, it's fighting. And I loved both of these franchises. Final Fight was the first game, or one of the first games that I got on Super Nintendo back in the day. And I loved that game. I played the heck out of that game. So this is one I'm definitely intrigued by. And I'm going to check it out. And hopefully you do too. But I'm giving this one a potentially good, just because, again, it's going to be a quick read usually. And, I don't know if there's going to be anything more to this aside from just a fun story to enjoy for a day. Valiant Comics has gotten new life thanks to Alien Books, and now they are back with Free Comic Book Day, The Valiants. And this is preview material. It's going to include sneak peeks at The Valiants and this big major arc and everything that is building up to this major, massive crossover in the Valiant universe coming, I believe it's in August, I'm wanting to say. Is that right? No, it's May. Sorry. May kicks off. Oh, no, it is August. May kicks off the Valiant. So that's when that series actually comes out. And then it sets the stage for the 3-part series. And then this event, this massive crossover that they're building everything to, starts in August. So in this book, we're going to have Roku versus Ninjak. And these two assassins are going to have to work together to retrieve something that has been stolen. And again, that's going to set up things. We get this great 10-page preview of the Valiants going into this. So If you are a fan of Valiant and you were kind of sad to see it start to dwindle, and you're like me, excited to see it start to build back up with the same creative teams and everybody involved, you'll want to check this one out. And if you haven't tried Valiant and you think this might be a good way to kind of dip your toes in the pool, I agree with you. I think this would be a good way because it is a preview to this next stage of the Valiant Universe. It's kind of a little bit of a reset for them. So hopefully it goes well. I'm giving this one a potentially good, again, because I'm not the biggest Ninjak fan, but I'm very curious about this Valiant's book. So there you go. Potentially good for the Valiants. Okay, here we go. Blood Hunt X-Men issue 1. This one is one that I didn't understand. I scratched my head a little bit because this week Blood Hunt number 1 comes out, and I don't understand why the Free Comic Book Day book comes out after Blood Hunt 1 comes out, unless it kind of takes you into one direction for the story. Like this says we're focusing on the Avengers, so maybe it's like this little side tale where it's filling in the blanks for something that happens in Blood Hunt 1. Maybe it's like this transitional thing, or maybe it's just a reprint of part of that. I really don't know. So I'm curious about that, but at the same time, it gives me a little pause. On the other side of that, you've got the X-Men, and you get a glimpse at the future of the mutants post Krakoa and the Krakoan Age, as Jubilee learns you can't go home again. So the one thing that gets me excited about this, though, is the creative team, because you have Jed MacKay writing and you have Sarah Pichelli on the art. These two are top, at the very top for me. I love both of their respectively writing and art. So I'm excited to see what they do with this book and what exactly this book entails. But because of all those questions around it, I'm giving this one a potentially good. All right, we're heading into the final 3 books that I'm going to be talking about. And the first up is Absolute Power Special Edition, issue 1 from DC Comics. This is the prelude to the biggest, as they say here, the biggest DC Comics event of 2024. And they claim it's a story that's 30 years in the making. I don't know about that, like what parts of that is 3 decades old that is coming into this, but I do know that in recent months, they have been building up to this through various books, various stories. Amanda Waller has been involved with Green Arrow, with Titans, with Superman, different aspects, different characters for a while now. Wonder Woman, that whole story with the Sovereign is going to kind of feed into this as well. Everything going on in Batman is obviously feeding into this based on the cover here. So they definitely have been ramping up to this thing, and it feels cohesive. It feels like the parts have been moving and kind of getting into place to converge onto this one particular event. No pun intended with the converge joke there. But yeah, it's got me curious. It's got me intrigued by this. Previews that I've seen look strong, and I don't know. This is cool. There's actually a couple of covers for this as well. It's the only book that I saw that had actually multiple covers, but I kind of like this one. Superman bleeding and falling is kind of a little bit telling. You got Mark Waid writing here, and Mikkel Janin on art. So you got a top-notch creative team on this one as well. So I'm really excited about this. This is not a free comic, by the way. This is a $10 comic, just to put it out there. I just realized that as I'm looking at this. It is $9.99. So keep that in mind when you're going shopping for your Free Comic Book Day books, that this one is not a free one. They're just offering it along with the Free Comic Book Day offerings. But all in all that is said and done, I'm still giving this one a promisingly good because I'm excited about it. Next, we have Ultimate Universe Spider-Man /Spider-Man issue number 1. This takes place right before Amazing Spider-Man number 50 of this particular run, this arc, from Zeb Wells, and we are getting the first taste of the return of the Goblin. So we're building up towards that, and we also get a tease or see the next step of the Ultimate Universe, and see this new hero that is coming into play in the Ultimate Universe. The creative team behind this is Dennis Camp, maybe, and Juan Frigeri. So I'm not hugely familiar with either of them. If this was the Ultimate Spider-Man creative team and being Jonathan Hickman, that's surprising to myself. But I would be excited about this. This would be like, oh, positively, absolutely, this is going to be great. But because of this, I'm going to give it a promisingly good, just because we're teasing the Ultimate Universe. We're kind of ramping up to all this stuff, all these milestones and everything. We got the 50th issue, whatever, something big's supposed to happen in that, and all this stuff really been hyping up to the Ultimate Universe. And anytime there's a new character debut, a new hero coming on the board, it could be really good. So I'm honestly trying to hype myself up as I'm saying this, as I realize this, because I went into it thinking it was one thing, and then when I looked further into it, thinking it was like an Ultimate Spider-Man kind of story, and now I'm learning that it's about this other character, and what's this going to actually entail? I don't know, but I'm gonna see, because this is obviously one I'm gonna pick up. It's Spider-Man. But yeah, this one's just getting a promisingly good from me. And last but certainly not least, as a matter of fact, I saved the best for last in my personal opinion, Enon Universe 2024 special. And this features stories from Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals, all those books that we have been seeing. We've seen obviously the ongoing Transformers series, the ongoing Void Rivals series, and the mini series Duke just wrapped up. I was sad to see it go, but I love to see where it left things off with a traditional looking Duke and the setup for the G.I. Joe team. Cobra Commander is about to end. Destro and Scarlet are about to debut. And so I'm curious to see what G.I. Joe book we're going to get in this Free Comic Book Day book. Transformers have been solid. They just got a new artist. If you haven't checked this out yet, they just got a new artist for the second arc, starting with issue 7. And seamless for me. The art was still really good. Really strong character development in this book in particular. Void Rivals, a really interesting sci-fi story with two warring planets that are closely tied more than they ever knew. And as that truth slowly gets revealed and secrets start to come out, it's really ramping up to be a good book. You got Joshua Williamson, you got Robert Kirkman, and you got Daniel Warren Johnson writing these brilliant books. I mean, it's just a good time, and they're all involved in this special Energon Universe Free Comic Book Day book as well. So this is definitely one I'm picking up. If there was only one that I was able to get, this would be my number one choice, absolutely, hands down. So for me, Energon Universe gets a positively good, the only one in the show, I believe. And yeah, it's just that good. I don't even know what the stories are, and I can tell you, it's just, this is going to be the one that I'm going to enjoy the most. It just is, and hopefully you'll enjoy it too. And that's it for the books that I'm going to be talking about. Those are the ones that caught my attention, that I really had additional thoughts about, or just wanted to let you know that they were out there for your family members, friends, whoever. But I will run off a few of the other ones that are available as Free Comic Book Day books. Keep in mind also that depending on your shop, they could offer past years Free Comic Book Day books that they still have laying around. That happens a lot. They may have special discounts, special sales. Some shops do signings, and they'll have creators come in, or maybe local talent as well. I've set up at a Free Comic Book Day store before, and So it can be a really fun time. You just look up your local shop, see what they're doing, and some of them have limits on how many books you can get. The limits are not the same shop to shop. It's always different. So be sure to find out how many books you can actually get for free, and take a friend with you and get more, because that's what I do. But yeah, so I'll run down some of those other options that may be available for you. Those include Asterix Olympics Special. There's a Barda Special Edition. There is Conan Battle of the Black Stone. We've got Cursed Verse, Disney's Encanto and Turning Red, The New Adventures, I Lie Popeye, Far Cry, Cull the Herd, Hellboy / Stranger Things, Initial D / Cana of the Great Snow Sea. We've got an Investigators Class Action Sneak Peek. We got Johnny Quest. We got Katie Cat Sitter / Meow Max Meow Mashup. That's a mouthful. Mad Magazine Special Edition. We've got Maleficent from Dynamite. We've got a Marvel and Fantagraphics present the Atlas Comics Library from Fantagraphics. We've got Marvel Voices, IDW's Monster High. We've got One Piece Aces Story / Status Royale. From Viz Media, we got Pokemon Adventures Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire / Splatoon 3. We've got Romeo vs. Juliet, a Kill Shakespeare adventure. We've got Snoopy Beagle Scouts Adventures. Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Let's see, what else? The Night Librarian. The Overstreet Guide to Collecting Comics. Tons of Strange, which is a book that Mike Spider-Slayer talked about on a preview video that he did, which was very strange according to him and the comic shop owner that he was talking to. We've got Ultra Duck from Arcana. We've got Unico Awakening from Graphics. We got Unicorn Crush from Andrews McNeil. Whispers from the Voyage, and from Random House, Witches of Brooklyn. So those are a bunch of the other offerings you can find on Free Comic Book Day. I hope you go experience it. I hope you have a great time, get some great books, have a fun time reading and enjoying your comics. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up because my voice is going... It's just going 2 times through this, and it's been a day. But anyway, I appreciate it, and it does help the channel. And of course, you can hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any shows, any special episodes, any new content coming up on this channel. Of course, you can follow me across social media at Only Good Comics, and you can type in onlygoodcomics.com to come right back here to this YouTube channel where we talk about only good comics. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care. Go read some Free Comic Book Day books, and I'll see you real soon.